Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Arsenal. And this is the match preview for our game against Sheffield United. Can we make it 7 Premier League wins in a row? Hopefully, so you'd like to think so, but obviously, football doesn't always work out like that. I'm expecting it to work out like that for this particular game, but it doesn't always. You find a team that has won, 6 games in a row and scored a bunch of goals, and then you find a team that has, lost the last 2 home games 5-0, 5-0. But you find that the teams drawing. Football is never really directly like that, so like direct. But for this one, I am expecting us to win. So it is Sheffield United. The first time we met them this season, we beat them 5-0 at home. I still remember that game very, very well. There was Tomiyasu scored in that game. I think that was his first Arsenal goal. Fabio Vieira scored a penalty in that game as well. Can I remember the other goal scorers? I think Nketiah scored a hat trick. That's what it was. Yeah, I remember Rice assisting Nketiah, and then his third goal was very, very good. And another game where we scored another like 2 corners in that game as well. So I'm hoping for more of the same. It's a Monday night game, so that gives Arsenal fans PTSD. I remember a couple of seasons ago we went to Sheffield United on a Monday night and we lost. But that doesn't really apply to me right now. To us right now, not at all. Like that was a long time ago. That was a different Arsenal team. This Arsenal team now is completely built different. Whether we are playing on a Monday night or a Thursday night or a Friday night, doesn't really matter. So I'm hoping for a massive win here. We've managed to improve our goal difference significantly the last 1 month, and we are hoping to do the same in this game. But the most important thing is to get the win. Just get the win, and then you can start talking about how many goals you won the game by, but just get the win first. So let's talk about Sheffield United a bit now. This season, they've really struggled. We started all the way from when the transfer window ended in August. They didn't do enough business in terms of the transfer window. Some of their players were on loan last season, some of their top scorers and all that, and they all left this season, and they never really replaced them. They already changed the manager this season. Chris Wilder, they came in. He actually had nice things to say about Arsenal and all in the conference. But in terms of his squad, I don't think they have like the capabilities of competing in the Premier League. And on top of that, they've been missing the experienced players through injury. Several of them, I think Egan and a couple more. So they've been missing players. So they've really struggled. Their fans are expecting them to get relegated. Everyone is expecting Sheffield to get relegated. So they don't really have so much to play for. But listen, if you beat Arsenal and then you go ahead and you win the next game, you never know. They're not like 15 points behind or anything like that. No. If you get like 3 wins, you're in and around there, and you can always survive. Especially if Everton and Nottingham Forest get their points deducted, you can always survive. But for us, we just need to go there and do our job. I watched Sheffield United in the last 2 games when they played actually 3 games. They played Brighton twice recently in the FA Cup and the Premier League. Brighton scored 5 in both games, and also the Aston Villa one where Aston Villa were just tearing them apart in the opening 20 minutes. Watkins and Bailey, all those guys, they were looking really, really good. So we are hoping for the same in this one. You don't want the game to like get to halftime 0-0, no. But if we start the game the way we did against Newcastle and the way we did against the likes of Liverpool and all that, and score in the first 10 minutes, then I'd expect us to get another big win, which would be very, very crucial to make it 7 wins in a row. After that, we have Brentford at home, and then after that, we have a 3-week break before we play our next Premier League game, because the one against Chelsea has been postponed because they have an FA Cup game. But after Brentford, it's a Champions League game, and then the break. So we want to win all of those games before the international break, because after the international break, it's the big one against Man City. Another thing to mention is this week, Man City are playing Man United. We expect Man City to win, but we're hoping Man United can do something, even get a draw. Liverpool again playing against Nottingham. If their players are still injured, you never know. And next week, Liverpool are playing against Man City, and Aston Villa are playing against Tottenham. So if we win these 2 games that are coming up, and you never know, we could end up top of the table, or we could all end up on the same points top of the table. You never know, and our goal difference is very, very good. So hoping that we can extend our goal difference in this one. Go there and do the job. Fans can be arrogant, as you always say, but the players, you can't be arrogant. You have to go there and you have to win the game. As again, I watched Sheffield last week, and their fans are kind of like fighting themselves and all that. So you need to take advantage of that, make them mad at themselves within the first 10 minutes, go and get the goals within the first 10 minutes. And we have a lot of positive news in terms of team news heading into this game. Partey is back. Zinchenko could make it. Tomiyasu could make it. Vieira is back. Jesus is fit to play as well. Timber is back in training. So we could have like 2 or 3 of those players back for this game, which is even more crucial. Like we can afford to if the job is done, you can take off Saka and Martinelli, and then you can even bring on Trossard and Vieira from the bench. You can easily get more goals. So let's hope we go out there and do the job. We just have to focus on ourselves for this one. If Sheffield somehow beat Arsenal, I think that would be our worst result ever as an Arsenal fan. That would be the worst result ever, because this is a team that has a minus 40 or 50 something in terms of goal difference. They've been conceding a lot of goals, and for us, we're on top form, winning 6 games in a row, scoring 5 against Palace, scoring 5 against Burnley, 6 against West Ham, 4 against Newcastle, Liverpool, 3 against them. We've been scoring a lot of goals. So let's just keep doing our job. There's 12 Premier League games to go. Let's remove this one, 11 games to go, win against Brentford, 10 games to go. You just have to keep winning your games. Just keep on winning your games. If by the end of the season, Man City or Liverpool beat us by 1 point and we've won every single game from now until the end of the season, or drew with Man City or something, well, there's nothing much you can do about that. But games like this, you want to win. You don't want to drop points in a game like this, and then at the end of the season, you're 1 point behind the champions Man City, and then you're looking at, oh my goodness, we drew or we lost to Sheffield United, a team that will be in the championship by then. You don't really want that. But absolutely no problem with Sheffield. The last few games we've had revenge on our mind with West Ham and Newcastle. Absolutely no problem with Sheffield. Whatever happens in this game, it's nothing personal. So what kind of lineup would I go for if I was Mikel Arteta? So this is what I'd do. Defensively, I'd keep it the same. David Dreyer, Kivior, Gabriel, Saliba, and Ben White would be my defense. Now, I was thinking of potentially playing Ramsdale in this one, because next week we're playing against Brentford and Dreyer cannot play. So Ramsdale will play next week. So I was thinking, should we give Ramsdale this one and then the one on the weekend, so 2 games in a row? But then I remember that if you keep Raya out of this one in the next game, and then in the Champions League game, you bring him back after he's not played for like 2 weeks, I don't think the coaches like doing anything like that. They want to keep the players fit and always playing. So I think David Raya will start, and then Ramsdale will start on the weekend. So that would be my defense. I'd keep it the same. He's been heaping praise on Kivior, rightly so. He's been absolutely incredible for us. And Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White, the less said, the better. We already know how good they are. What about the midfield? Now, we've gone with Jorginho and Rice the last game. Jorginho, the games he started this year, has been man of the match against Liverpool and Newcastle. But in this kind of game, you either do 2 things. You either start Jorginho and rest Declan Rice, or you just play Declan Rice in midfield and you have Jorginho on the bench. This is not the kind of game you have to rotate. Some games it's a Jorginho game, some games it's a Havertz game, some game it's a Zinchenko game, some games are an Odegaard game. There's different, and this one I don't feel like it's a Jorginho game. I mean, if he plays, yes, he can give the passes and all that. I should say it like this: I don't think it's a Jorginho and Rice kind of game. I think you need more tackles on the pitch, and that is what I do. So for my midfield, I would play Declan Rice in the number 6 position. And then in front of him, what should I do with that? Yes, I've made a change in the number 8 position, and this is what I've gone for. I've gone for Odegaard and Smith Rowe. Yep, I've gone for Smith Rowe to start there. I was thinking Havertz to start there or Trossard, but no, I want to, again, as I said, there's games for Havertz. Like the West Ham game, I didn't have Havertz in my lineup, but for the Newcastle game, I definitely had Havertz in my lineup. There's like different games. Like this one, it reminds me of the West Ham game. I feel like we're going to get, even if they park the bus, we're going to get opportunities, and we'll need to like break them down. And after we break them down, we can easily score like we did against West Ham, in terms of just passing in behind, long balls to Saka and all that. We can do that in this game, and I need the pace up front. So that is what I've gone for this upcoming front 3. So Smith Rowe starts for me. I want to see what he does in this one. Hopefully he gets at least 60 minutes for this one. And then because I don't see anywhere else where Smith Rowe gets the start, so I want to see him starting in this one. Smith Rowe is the one that I really want to see. Even if it's Vieira, that is fine. I just want to see one of them starting. But for me, I'd go for Smith Rowe first. And then up front, I would go with Saka on the right, Martinelli on the left. And then my striker for this one is Leandro Trossard. Now, Jesus is back. Nketiah is available. Havertz is available. But I've gone for Trossard because I'm looking at this like the West Ham game, as I said. No, not a small pitch like Luton or Bournemouth. No, I saw a big pitch like West Ham. West Ham's gone, but you're going to get spaces in behind. So we're going to need that space and that technical ability from Trossard and all that. So I've gone for him up front. And then that leaves a very, very strong bench. Look at that bench. Ramsdale, Zinchenko, Cedric, Partey is back, Jorginho, Havertz, Jesus, Nketiah, and Nelson. Now, that is what I'd go for. Arteta would go for, I don't think he's going to go with Jorginho and Rice, but I think he might start Havertz instead of Smith Rowe, and then just have Trossard in the number 8 and Havertz up front or something like that, or both of them to rotate. Or he could even start Nketiah, because Nketiah scored a hat-trick against Sheffield. And people usually say Nketiah only scores against the Sheffields and the Burnleys. Well, if he plays, hopefully he does score those 2-3 goals that he did against them last time out. But for me, I want to see Smith Rowe starting in this game. And then from the bench, if we are having like a comfortable lead like we had against West Ham and Burnley, then you can bring on Nelson for Saka, you can bring on Fabi Vren, the number 10 for Odegaard, and let's see him in that position. Potentially Cedric for Ben White as well, or even Cedric for Saliba, Ben White to centre back. We could also see Jorginho coming on for Rice. We could also see, you could also have Nketiah coming on for Martinelli, take Trossard at the left side and play Nketiah up front. There's a lot you can do. If you're very, 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 very comfortable as well, you can always bring Cedric. I don't know if El Neni can't have space on the bench unless Zinchenko is not fit enough, but if everyone is fit enough, I think El Neni could be the one missing, because I think it'd go for Cedric because you don't have too many defenders on the bench. So it'd go for him in case you have a comfortable lead. You can afford to sub off Saliba or Ben White. Or if Tomiyasu is back as well, then I don't think Cedric will be on the bench as well. So he might decide to have at least one of them on the bench, because in case we win big, then he can just bring on someone who doesn't really regularly get game time. He could also end up starting maybe Partey gets a game time in this one. But for me, I'm going to bring on the others. I'm going to save Partey for the Brentford and FC Porto game. But let's see my prediction for the game. I was really tempted to go with something crazy, but I was like, we're going to maybe get 3-4 and then sub off players, and then potentially get one after that. So I am going to go for a big one. I'm going to match the last two results at their stadium at Bramall Lane for Sheffield against Aston Villa and against Brighton. I'm going to go for Sheffield 0, Arsenal 5. Yeah, I'm going to go for Arsenal to win the game 5-0. I'm going to go for Martinelli to score. Hopefully he's not scored for a while since the Crystal Palace game. I'm going to go for Saka to score, Trossard to score, Odegaard to score, and Nketiah to score. Those are my goal scores. If you also see Jesus in this game, absolutely no problem. But I've seen a lot of people going for 2-0, 1-0. Come on, man. Let's just keep on with our form and you're going to get the goals. I'd like it to be more than that. I was so close to saying 7-0, but I was like, no, you're going to sub off players. But looking at that bench again, if we have that bench with Jesus and Havertz and all those guys to come on, nah, I'm going to change it. I'm going to say, I'm going to go for it. Sheffield 0, Arsenal 6. Let's do it again. Sheffield 0, Arsenal 6, just like we did against West Ham. Let's go for it, mainly because of the players who are coming off the bench. So Sheffield 0, Arsenal 6. That is my prediction. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.